Hi everyone, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today we have teacher Dawn Menge on my channel today. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little about yourself.
My name is Dr. Dawn Menge. I have a PhD in curriculum instruction, and I've been teaching severely handicapped students for over 20 years, which is going to be our topic today. And I also write a children's series, Queen Vernita's Visitors. Queen Vernita is named after my grandmother, and all of the adventures are adventures I have taken in my life. But I have my books out because some of my students are in my books. So nice to show you who they are and what they're doing in the books and why I included them.
Okay. Well, first of all, what do you teach?
I teach students with severe cognitive delay. I have taught all the way from elementary up to an adult center in a storefront. Our students stay in our classes until they're 22. So from 18 to 22, we teach transitional skills, which would be workability, learning how to ride the city bus, learning how to read the signs, how to stay safe, how to shop, how to budget, so they can be as independent as possible.
Okay. Why did you want to become a teacher?
Well, my mom taught kindergarten for 25 years. I have an aunt who teaches special ed, and my son is going into education right now. He wants to teach history, junior high history.
Oh.
So we have a family route for education. Okay.
What is your teaching style?
I'm going to say it's free-flowing. We have a very busy classroom. As my students are severely handicapped, a lot of them might have behaviors. I have 6 staff in my room right now, and we teach a lot of the transitional skills, which is learning how to put jigs together. They're vocational jigs. You learn how to put things in, screw things on, this type of thing. We do this in the classroom. We also go into the community and we ride the city bus, and we learn how to communicate with everyone. And so teaching style for me is what we can do, how much we can do with our students in the community, and to teach them that they can do just about anything they would like to do.
Okay. How do you motivate your students?
We use a lot of positive interventions, teaching them that, you teach as if they are regular students. They're regular students who have a special need. And as long as you treat them that way, you use positive reinforcement. If you have to do your work, if you want to go to the movies with us, or you have to do your work if you want to do, they have to follow the rules just like all the other students.
Well, you want to talk about your books now, with your students?
Well, I wanted to talk about this one. This is my brand new book, and this is Connor, and Connor has autism. He was in my classroom for about 3 years, and this is his dad. And in this book, he's teaching the Queen how to use an augmentative listening device, speaking device. So it's an iPad that has items on it that if you press, it'll tell the person listening what it is that you want. It's a way for non-speaking autistic children, or any children that are non-speaking, to speak to everyone because they want to speak. It's a way to get their needs out. And so they go through the volcanic park, and Connor is teaching his dad, or Connor and dad are teaching the Queen Vernita how to use the device and what it's used for. And then this one is Heather in Ireland. Heather is the mom, and Ireland is a little girl, and she has Rett syndrome. And in this page, we teach all about Rett syndrome. We teach 7 facts about Rett syndrome and what it's like for her to have this and what she goes through. And so this is a real little girl, and this is her real life. And I have other books. I don't have them with me, but we have Down syndrome, and we do cerebral palsy, and we just talk about a little bit about the disease or the disability, and then we talk about what it is they're doing, the positive parts of what they're doing. Here she's making leis for her whole class, and her mom's helping her, and the queen is helping her because they're in Hawaii.
Okay.
And here Connor and the queen are exploring the volcanic national park, and then Connor's teaching the queen how to talk to him. So it's just really interesting, and I really love my job.
Okay. How long have you been teaching?
Over 20 years. I started as an assistant in an elementary school, and then when I became a teacher, I actually brought the students that I had that were moving on. We went to the junior high together, and I had 2 assistants, and we all went to the high school together as a group, and then we all went into the adult center as a group. So I kind of raised them along with my children who were on campus with us, and until they actually graduated and went out into the world. It was kind of sad, but
Okay.
it was nice when we were at the high school. We had our students went through the high school graduation, all of the children, and I actually, instead of having to stand and sit in the stands way up there so I couldn't see my own son, I actually was walking 3 people behind him. So I got to walk with him as he walked through the procession and get his diploma right in front of me. So it was really great, and we all just graduated together. So I really enjoyed the experiences I've had. I taught in the local district where I grew up, and it's in the mountains. And so we grew up snow skiing. You know, like every Wednesday we went to the ski hill and we went snow skiing. So I wanted to give this to my own students. So I applied for some grants, and for 4 years we went up to the ski hill and they learned how to ski. And they learned how to ski at their own abilities. I had some higher functioning students who could ski independently, but they had an instructor with them the whole time, and they learned how to snowboard. It was wonderful. And then I had some that had some more physical disabilities or some more issues, and they had little reins on the front of the skis, and they were guiding the students, and it just depended on their abilities. And they also had a sled, and the students who couldn't hold themselves up or fit more physical could sit in the sled, and they got to ski down with the instructors. So it was really wonderful.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me a typical day for you?
Well, the typical day for us is getting all of our students off the bus, of course, going into the classroom. They eat breakfast. We all sit down. There's usually things going on, a lot of things going on. They all work on their own independent goals. They all have an IEP, and so they all have their own goals. And so they would be working on, they have an assistant and like 3 students. And then there's some students that have 1 aide or 2 students with 1 aide, but they're all working on their own different items. Some might be working on math, some might be working on the vocational skills. They're all doing, some are working with speech. Speech will come in, occupational therapy will come in, physical therapy will come in. We have psychologists that come in. It's very busy, very busy. So once I walk on campus, I usually don't stop until 2:30 or.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So we have a very busy day. We go out and try to eat in the quad. And my students, they stuff envelopes. And right now they're putting the tags on the ski hat at the local Mountain Hardware, and they give us a movie pass. And so the students earn their movie pass. We go to the movies once a month. Next week, we're gonna go to a trampoline place. They let us go, and we're gonna have fun. We do all sorts of things during our day. So it's very busy.
Okay. How do you communicate and build relationships with the parents?
Well, we have a meeting once a year. We all sit down, the team, and the team consists of whatever services the child has. Each child has different services because they have different needs. So we would sit down with occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, and we would all create goals together. But that's a formal meeting. Informally, we all of my parents have a phone number, so we text or they call. Because I'm on my feet most of the day, it's just easier to use my cell phone. But they call the classroom, they come in, we have notes, just the same kind of communication that you have with a regular education student. You just might have a little bit more. It really depends on the parent. When you first get them, now that I teach junior high and high school, you're kind of transitioning from elementary school where they're a little more watched and they don't go out in the world. And I like to take my students out and about. And so it's kind of a hard transition for some of the parents at first, oh, my student, my child can't do that. We're not going to go out there. And then they come with me. I always have the parents come with us on trips so that they're more comfortable with us just out in the world. When I worked at the high school a few years ago, our students actually collected cans and they built these Christmas trees with Christmas lights out of hangers, and we sold them. And our students got to go swimming with the dolphins at SeaWorld. And all of the parents came, and it was just really neat. So I really try to get them out there and to do some things that the parents don't think they can do. They're not aware of that. We have 2 dances every year where I work for county schools, where the county schools puts them on at the Elk Lodge, and it's for all of the high school students, and they get all dressed up. They're having turkey dinner. The parents come. It's great fun. And then the district I work in does a special needs prom once a year, turns with each school, and it's a formal dance during the school day. So we take them, and parents come, all sorts of people come. And that was the article I was showing you. This was last year, and we were so excited because these are my students, and they were crowned queen and king, and this is him with his mom getting crowned, and it was just exciting to be honored, to be on the front page for our students, and that they want the opportunities just like everyone else does.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between an IEP and a 504 plan? I'm sorry.
Yeah. An IEP is for students who are in mostly self-contained classrooms. They're more intense, and all of the services are within the classroom. A 504 plan is more for students who are in regular education classrooms who need support. It's the special supports they would have in the regular education classroom to access the curriculum. It could be many things. It matters what the child has. If the child is deaf, they would have an interpreter follow them throughout the day. If they have ADHD, they could sit on a sensory ball some part of the day and kind of bounce it out, or they need extra breaks, or whatever it is that specific child needs on that 504 plan. And then each teacher that they would go to would need to provide that. Sometimes they just need to sit in the front of the classroom so they can see better or hear better or stay focused better. Or sometimes they might need just a little bit of help to stay organized. The teacher might need to make sure they're taking their homework home, or they're turning it in, because some of them can't be quite independent. So it all depends on each child. When you start doing 504s and IEPs, they're all specialized per that child to make that child as successful as possible and accessing the curriculum that we're giving.
What is your greatest success you've had since teaching?
Oh my gosh. For me, it has been when I've had a really difficult child that is having trouble in other classrooms, and they come into ours and we're able to settle them down and get them going in a very positive direction. When I got Connor, he moved here from another state. He moved in with his father, and he was out of sorts, just confused. He had autism, and he was having a really hard time, and he settled into it, and we were able to take him out into the community, and we had a great relationship with his dad, and I would consider him a success. Now, when they leave our classroom, they go into adult programs, and they do kinds of things we do. They go into the community, they take them to the mall walking, they go to the movies, they go to work. They do all that kind of things until they aren't living anymore. But teach them, the more we teach them in school, the more they can do when they leave us. So that's why we try to add so much work.
What is the greatest challenge facing students today?
For our students and our staff, sadly, it's still being accepted. We're usually a specialized classroom. Until I came to this campus, I was the only one who worked for the county on a district. And so we're kind of like the redheaded stepchildren, you know, they don't want to talk to us. They don't want to, you know, I've had administrators say, those aren't our students. We're not responsible for them, but all of the students belong to the district. And so the biggest challenge is just being included and accepted, even on an educational site, which is sad because that's where we should be free to put our students into the, you know, the mainstream. You know, if we can't do it there, or we're having a hard time doing it there, just think of how hard it is out in the general public. You know, so that's the hardest challenge, I think.
Okay. How do you connect your lessons to real life?
Well, like I said, what we do is we teach functional words, exit, stop, and all this. And then we take them into the community and have them actually use those words. You know, being able to read the signs. Well, what should we do next? Which one is the women's? Which one is the men's? You know, all of those functional skills, making sure they can sit on a city bus politely, give them the money that they need, answer the questions that they need. And like with Connor, who's using a device to communicate, we take that out into the community and we go to a restaurant and we make them use it with the waitresses or the waiters or the cashier and to order our food. And it not only teaches the child how to use it, it also teaches the community how to deal with our population. And to, you know, not to be afraid or unsure. You know, they're just kids, and you know, they're just doing what all the kids do. And that's one of the things that parents sometimes forget, is that they're still children. They're still teenagers. They're teenagers with a disability. So you can't blame all of their behaviors on their disability. Sometimes they're just being children. And that, to me, I think that might be one of my challenges too, is getting the parents to not use the disability as a reason for misbehavior. You know, it's like, no, they're just, they're 14, you know, because they're children. So.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to add before we go?
Well, I guess I wanted to mention something that I have learned recently that I did not know. It's a standardized testing. I know there's a lot of negativity towards it, and this is not advocating for it, but I actually started going up to Sacramento and working on the test with other teachers, other specialists. We have special ed teachers, and then we have science teachers and math teachers, and we're developing the questions and we're analyzing the answers so that our students can best access it. And that was something that I was not aware of until I started going up there, that there's so much involvement from the actual teachers. And so that's something I would like other teachers to understand, is that, you know, they can go up there and work on it, sign up. And it's really interesting. And the CDE and the ETS, they're just very interested in what you have to say.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank you, first of all, personally, for educating and dedicating your life to special ed students. And also thank you for doing this interview with me today.
Absolutely. Anytime I get to talk about it, I love it. Thank you.
Well, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Take care. Bye. And thank you.
Bye.
Bye.